Let's see what we're talking about with this. The 3 greatest games ever played, and then using numbers to find the most difficult NBA championship ever won. Oh my god, that one's gonna be fucking controversial, bro. Oh my god, let's watch this one first. This is gonna be controversial. I already know this is gonna be controversial, bro. Oh my god, bro. Let's just watch this. Let's see. From what I've seen a couple of his videos. He doesn't seem like a LeBron hater, so I kind of fuck with this guy. But we'll see. We'll see. I never banned Bauer, chat. Shut the fuck up.
Los Angeles Lakers wrapped up this long and grueling season with a championship. A storybook ending for LeBron, AD, and the Lakers organization. And now that the season is over, I wanted to take a deep dive into something that has been circulating over the last few days. This championship being one of the easiest to win in recent years. Not only did I crunch the numbers to find out if there was any truth to this claim, the result that I got is one you have to see to believe. With LeBron claiming his 4th ring, the tone among NBA fans hasn't changed much. Some people love to see it, others don't. This was about as predictable as it gets, hence the title of my last video. With many NBA fans saying this season was so different and unconventional that this particular championship should have an asterisk next to it. Or, as some call it, the Mickey Mouse Rec League Championship. But looking at this from an objective point of view, where does this championship run rank all time in terms of difficulty? What championship team had the hardest run to...
Like, bro, if you're one of those people who says that, bro, like, you're just fucking stupid, or you're just trolling... and you're triggering people. Like, that's it. There's no in between. You're either someone who wants to trigger a lot of people, or you're just so dumb that there's no even talking to you. You're just fucking stupid as shit. Like, that's it.
A title, and which championship team had the easiest run? Well, I started this search for the ultimate championship run and quickly came across this Reddit post from 4 years ago. This Reddit user came up with a simple way of measuring the difficulty of a team's title run by using an advanced stat called the Simple Rating System, or SRS. This stat measures a team's margin of victory throughout the season adjusted for strength of schedule. Basically, this stat quantifies how good a team is. For example, this season the Bucks had the highest SRS in the entire league of 9.41, followed by the Clippers, Lakers, and Raptors.
I mean, that just shows you that this stat means fucking nothing. Like, look at right here.
Wow.
These are not the top 5 teams in the NBA. This stat means fucking nothing.
Just like any other stat, it has its flaws, but overall it's a great indicator of how great or terrible a team is. He then added up the total SRS values for every team that each championship team beat in the playoffs. For example, in 2017, the Warriors beat the Blazers, Jazz, Spurs, and Cavaliers. Add up the SRS scores for each of those teams, and the difficulty of the Warriors' 2017 championship run is 13.77. So now that we understand how this all works, here's the list of championship runs ranked in terms of difficulty. With the 1995 Rockets having the most difficult path to a championship and the 1987 Lakers having
60-cent tax rate if Biden wins gifted 5 subs. I heard about that. That's... I'm not even going to touch on that because it gets political, but I hope that no matter who's the president, bro, that no one is ever able to take 60% of someone's income. If you think that that's okay to take 60% of someone's income, I don't even want to talk to you. I'm going to just be honest. Like, at this point, I don't even want to talk to you. I'm being completely honest. But, whatever. Let's just watch this.
The easiest path to a championship. This list only includes championships dating back to the 1984 season, since that is when the 16-team playoff system was introduced. So, with the last 37 championship teams listed, where do the 2020 Lakers land? All the way down at 35th. In the last 37 seasons, only 2 championship teams faced easier competition than the Lakers faced in this season's playoffs. In my last video, I talked about how the Lakers' path to a title this season was no easy.
You know who made this? You know who made this list? You know who probably came up with this stupid ass stat? Someone trying to be like, how do we diminish LeBron's rings? How do we diminish LeBron's rings? Let's look at this. Who else is right here? Oh, a 2013 heater right there too. Interesting, bro. Really fucking interesting, bro. This is the saddest shit I've. This is the saddest specific. Why'd I get banned, bro? Why'd I get timed? I mean, you're gonna spam in my chat, Mickey Mouse ring. Get fucking banned and shut the fuck up. We wouldn't even know what SRS is if any other team won a championship. The hate for LeBron is insane. Dude, I've said this, bro, and I'm not going to go ranting, but we know this. We know about the hate. Most people, especially on Twitter, I'd say 90%, because of how young people on Twitter are. The 90% of people who ride for Jordan and say he's the GOAT and all the shit, they're saying that not because of how much they love Jordan or how much of a Bulls fan they are or how much whatever. No. They're saying that because of how much they don't like LeBron and will not say LeBron's the GOAT. Oh, let's fucking ride for Jordan, who they don't give a fuck about. They didn't watch Jordan. They're not a fan of Jordan. Unless you're a fucking Bulls fan or a fucking Jordan fan from that fucking... How could you ever just be a Jordan fan random as fuck? Like, how could you be a 16-year-old and just be a Jordan fanatic? How does that happen? Or is the more logical thing, oh, I just don't like LeBron? It's the more logical thing here, bro. That's fine. I'll get question marks. I'll get 88 IQ, but you know what I'm saying is right. Most of these people riding for Jordan don't give a fuck about Jordan. They just give a fuck about hating on LeBron. That's it. Let's watch this video, though.
Playoffs. In my last video, I talked about how the Lakers' path to a title this season was no easier than any other championship teams. And I literally could not have been more wrong. Not only was their path easy, it was nearly the easiest path of the last 37 seasons. But let's take a deeper look into some of these numbers. The first thing that jumped out at me was that the Shaq and Kobe Lakers three-peat featured 3 of the top 5 most difficult paths to a championship. That is unbelievable. And even crazier is that in 2001, the Lakers nearly swept the playoffs, going 15-1, while facing the second most difficult opponents in the process. So if you've ever wondered what team was the most dominant in the last 35 seasons,
But from when he just showed the top 5 teams in the NBA this year, he just showed that those are not the top 5 teams in the NBA. So this list is kind of, it's like it's numbers. It's based on the regular season stats, but that doesn't mean that that Lakers team played the best teams. It's not true. It's just not true. God, you're dumb. Cry? Like, how is this my okay? So if that's true, then why didn't the Bucks and the Clippers go to the finals? If that list was true, if those are the best teams in the NBA, like, why didn't the Bucks and the Clippers go to the finals? If that's true, though, if these numbers matter, why? 88 IQ, though, right?
I think there is your answer. Now, if we highlight each decade, then we can see which 10-year span featured the most difficult runs to a championship. And for the most part, each decade had similar levels of difficulty. Except the 80s. But this was because for most of the 80s, the league only had 23 teams, which meant a 16-team playoff format featured many teams with losing records. Simply put, the league was still good, but it was super top heavy with bad teams making the playoffs. With that being said, it's still shocking just how easy it was to get deep into the playoff.
So, are we gonna sit here and take Magic Johnson's championships away from him? We're gonna just take those away from him? Oh, and Larry Bird, who you guys love? Are we just taking are we stripping these? Like, I'm confused here.
In the 80s. So, you know how the NBA has been a bit one-sided throughout recent history in terms of talent level in each conference? Well, this next graphic highlights just that. When graphing the most difficult paths to a championship using SRS scores on the y-axis, you can see that the West has won 4 of the 5 toughest championships since 1984. The West has also won 12 of the 20 most difficult titles in the last 37 seasons. 4 of those 8 titles from the East coming at the hands of Michael Jordan and the Bulls. Here are Michael Jordan's 6 titles. Here are Kobe's 5 championships, every single one of them having a very high degree of difficulty. And here are LeBron's 4 championships. Now, strictly considering how challenging each of these championship runs were, which collection of championships looks more impressive? At face value, Kobe's rings are easily the greatest collection of tough titles in the modern NBA. Now consider the fact that Mike and LeBron received Finals MVP in every one of their championship seasons, and Kobe won the award just 2 out of 5 times. And for some more reference, here are Magic Johnson's last 3 championships. I've said it before and I cannot stress this enough. Not every championship is built the same. And when you start considering other variables like who did they play with, was there any significant injuries, and how well did they play in the finals, you begin to see just how ridiculous it is to base the foundation of your GOAT debate on purely how many rings a player has. Most would agree that
I like this video. I like this video.
5 rings beats 4. But what if the 5 rings were won on a relatively easy path, while the 4 were won on a more difficult path? And before we move on, I just want to...
Hey, where's everyone who is sucking this shit off? Where the fuck are you guys at? Chat's getting a little slow now, bro. Chat's getting a little bit slow here, bro. Where you guys at? Stay with me. Stay with me. You thought he was going down a different road, right? You thought he's about to shit on LeBron, right? Nah, stay with me, bro. Stay with me, bro. Don't go away now. Come back. There we go. Come back. Come back. Come back. You're drifting again. It's okay. You'll still see it.
Now that this era of the NBA, the 90s and early 2000s, was easily the most competitive time in basketball. Just something to think about. So after seeing just how different each title run can be, one surprising aspect of this experiment that jumped out at me was the fact that the best 2 teams don't always end up in the finals. In fact, rarely do the best 2 teams end up in the finals. For example, in the 2001 playoffs, the Lakers faced off against the 76ers in the finals. This was possibly the biggest finals mismatch in recent history, but NBA fans knew this at the time. However, just how big of a mismatch this was is absurd. On their path to the finals, the Lakers beat the Blazers, the Kings, and the Spurs. All of these teams had a higher SRS.
Let me move my camera.
Scored than the 76ers. Of course, this is a rather simple metric to grade how good a team is, but it is not a stretch to say that the Lakers faced better teams at every stage leading up to the finals than they did in the finals. In 2018, the Warriors beat the Spurs, the Pelicans, and the Rockets on their way to the finals to face the Cavs, each of these Western Conference teams being statistically better than the Cavaliers. So, think to yourself. How many players and teams have been eliminated before the finals that could have made the finals if they were just in a different conference? How many NBA championships were decided in the Western Conference? This is why, although I'm a certified LeBron fanboy, I don't put as much weight into his 10 finals appearances as other fans. I have to consider the fact that during those finals runs, the East was considerably worse than the West.
This is where you lost me, because it doesn't just mean getting in 10 finals. It means staying healthy. It means not fucking missing half the season or missing full seasons. You know. It means, no, I was this good for that many years straight. That means something, bro. If you want to think that that means nothing at all, like, oh, who cares? Look at every other superstar ever. They've all been injured. They've all, bad shit has happened to all of them. I'm staying with him, but to just sit here and be like, oh yeah, that's why 10. It's impressive on many different levels. It's impressive on many different levels, bro. And if you're just gonna sit here and be like, oh no, the East was just weak, and we can't say, oh, because LeBron is so good, then you can't say the shit about Jordan about, oh no, like, what's it called? Every time I've said, what's the shit that I say, and everyone is like, oh no, that's because Jordan is the best. Oh yeah. When I say shit about Jordan's opponents, you just go, no, Jordan's just the best. He's just the best. He makes everyone look bad. Oh, but LeBron can't do that, right? LeBron can't make everyone else look bad. Only Jordan can do that, right? Makes no sense at all.
And if LeBron and the Cavs were in the West, they may not have even saw the finals. So just...
How fucking dare you fucking ever say that? How fucking dare you? How fucking dare you? I don't give a fuck about this video anymore.
Just how easy was the Lakers' path to a championship this season? Quite frankly, it was historically easy. But the craziest part about all of this is that in 20 years, no one will care about the details. Just like how no one cares that 3 of Magic's 5 rings were won on easy paths. Just like how the 99 Spurs snagged a relatively easy ring during the most difficult era of the NBA. Just like how MJ's path to his first 2 rings were immensely easier than the path to his last 4. It doesn't matter because it doesn't change anything. Regardless of how you get it, a ring is still a ring. And although they aren't all built the same, they all shine just as bright. Hope you all enjoyed, and as always,
I appreciate you streaming to help me take my mind off things.
Can we please get some RIPs in the chat for my guy Gatorade? 16-month sub in the chat. His uncle just passed away. All jokes aside, video nothing. There's some RIPs in the chat. Hey, I'm so sorry, bro. Tron, thanks for the 34 months. Let's hear out what he has to say.
they all shine just as bright. Hope you all enjoyed, and as always, until next time.
I'm disappointed with this video because I actually think that this guy makes good videos, and this was just lazy to me. You looked at one stat and based an entire video on one stat. You could use that stat as like part of what makes something, but you didn't use anything else. Like the whole video. Like you might as well have made this a fucking SRS video, bro. Like using numbers to find the most difficult NBA championship. No, this is clickbait. This is clickbait, bro. This is not like, this doesn't prove anything. Because I can just as well argue that, no, that, like, the teams, like, just showing this, I would love to see every single year's top 5 teams. Because I guarantee we'll be like, what? They were top 5? That team was ass. They were number 2? Oh, that team's trash. Dude. God, listen, I like this guy's videos. He used one stat to base everything? Like, you're actually autistic, it's sad. Some people are saying you're right, Los, facts, and some people are saying that I have autism. So I think you could tell who likes LeBron and who likes Jordan in the chat.